Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Entirely English and our series on British insults and putdowns. We are currently going through a Reddit discussion looking at some of these suggestions here, and I'm doing my best to try to explain them. Some of them have actually been new to me. For example, in the last video, we had ball bag, which was a Scottish insult.
Ball bag, you wee ball bag, is a scrotum, means you are a scrotum.
People who are studying English might find these interesting, give you some insight into the British way of life, British mentality. And as I've mentioned before, knowing a culture is very helpful when you're studying a language. So let's continue with our British insults and putdowns. So continuing from where we left off, our next word is git. This was a very popular word when I was at school, as in insulting somebody, calling them a git. In usage, it just means a bad person, selfish, mean, that sort of thing. The literal translation is camel spit. But you'd call somebody like, he's an old git. And it just meant somebody unpleasant, selfish, mean. I think Ron Weasley called Argus Filch, the caretaker, an old git in the Harry Potter books. Next, thick as pig. Yeah. It's a strange comparison. If you've ever been on a farm, you'll know that's a very strange comparison. But essentially, it's a common phrase meaning totally stupid. A moron. He is thick as pigs. Now, there's some on here which, as Philip Swain pointed out in the comments on the last video, a lot of these insults can be regional. So I'm cutting out some of these, which are like just from Essex and the rest of the country don't know them and don't care about them. We're looking at the most popular, not just all of them. The next one is plum. This one did start in London, and again, it's got no particular meaning apart from maybe idiot. Like he says here, shut up, Dave, you plum. It could be something to do with Cockney rhyming slang, like plumber's mate. But I'm not sure how that would work. Maybe you know, pop it in the comments. But plum it's not an offensive word. It's a bit like our plonkers before. It's just something people say to mean idiot, and not in an aggressive sort of, I'm going to kick your head in style. God, we've got lots of repetitions here. So another popular one here is bint, and it's a bit like calling a woman, it's only for women, a tart or a stupid person, a silly bint, and it's just disparaging. I suppose with the feminist movement, it's probably not allowed to be said in public now, so I should be careful. But yeah, she's a silly bint. Pleb is an interesting one. Comes from the word plebeian, which just means normal, run-of-the-mill, common, like the lower classes of society, the plebs. Pleb. So you can imagine Emperor Nero looking down on the slaves and things in society and saying, no, those plebs, get them out of here. Let's burn the city down. I've got Burke again. I love it when people get called a melon. So simple. Yeah, you melon head. It's just, again, somebody stupid, foolish. Again, like the Muppet we had before. Not offensive, but pointing out the fact the person was being an idiot at that time. I got called sexy fingers at work once for dropping a washer. Sexy fingers? That's a new one on me. There's a common one, eat and die. Very aggressive retort to somebody who's maybe saying something stupid, like, we've decided not to broker peace with Russia. We've decided instead to give them more of your land. And really, Zelensky should turn around and say, eat shit and die. Sorry, personal. All right. Here we've got pleb and tosser, which we've had already. Flid, I suppose, is very unacceptable these days. It comes from the word thalidomide, which was a drug that was administered in the 40s and 50s to women. It was supposed to help with the birth. And what it actually did was cause birth defects in a roundabout sort of way. So you got those people with the little arms, that sort of thing. So when you call somebody a flid, you're saying they're thalidomide. And on that list as well, there's also spastic. These were very popular phrases in the 70s. Again, as I said, probably totally unacceptable now with our enlightened society. Okay, cat wanking donkey funds are there. Again, not a common one, not one I've come across, but it is sort of self-explanatory. Fondlers like to touch inappropriately. Mong and Meng. Mong is another word like that. Fled. It comes from Mongol, which was a name for people with Down syndrome. So we call somebody Mongol, Mongoloid. And there's a nice one that there are variations on. The eyes are open, the mouth moves, but Mr. Brain has long since departed. Again, self-explanatory. Like this person is animated, but they've got no brain. Shorter version is the lights are on, but nobody's home. As in, the eyes are open, but the brain isn't functioning. And there we have, you have got a face only a mother could love. Self-explanatory, you're so ugly, nobody else could love you. Well, that's an interesting one. The kind of face only Crime Watch could want. Crime Watch was a television series where they reported crimes and people who were being looked for by the police, hoping to get the public to phone in and saying, yes, I saw that man on the... So a face only Crime Watch would want. Nobody else would want you. Crime Watch would, because they could put it on television and get reports. Slag. Slag is a word for a woman or female, let's just say, who sleeps around. Yeah, a man who sleeps around is a legend. A woman who sleeps around is a slag. Another way of defining it would be like a prostitute who doesn't accept money. You slag. Very common in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, that sort of thing. You slag, Danny. I'm going to have you. Yeah, they call men that as well.
No, you slag, you slag.
Prat, common one. Idiot. A fool. Calm down, silly bollocks. Silly bollocks. Bollocks, as I explained in the last one, is another word for testicles, your balls. Silly bollocks. It's a strange visual one, isn't it? There's one from Scotland. I will translate it. Away and boil your head. Another way of saying get lost, go away, stop being stupid, stop telling me your idiotic thoughts.
For goodness sake, Bertie, go away and boil your head.
I heard a guy shout lanky streak of piss. It hasn't left my mind since. Still don't know what it means though. As the guy here says, it means tall and thin, lanky streak of piss. Like that footballer, something Crouch. And it's very tall and very skinny, weird kind of looking. He actually said himself if he wasn't a famous footballer, he'd never get a girl. As I said, lots of repetition on here. You get the feeling that people don't read the previous posts. They read the title and they just type something without reading anything. But you, cabbage. Again, you put in an adjective like the F word or absolute or total. Cabbage, potato, airplane. It doesn't matter. It's just a way of expressing your annoyance with somebody. Bounder. Oh my gosh, this is going back. This is like the days of G.K. Chesterton. You absolute bounder. In that vernacular, bounder was somebody who was dishonest. Like a fortune-seeking bounder. He's just going to marry that woman for her money, not because of love. He's a bounder and a cad. That was another one. Bounder and cad. I say, he is such a cad. So the bounder is like somebody who's morally reprehensible, of higher social status. Cad is normally more common people, and it means somebody who has a lack of manners and gentility. Somebody who should not be in polite society. It's a bounder and a cad.
A man who is a liar, a bounder, and a cad.
Okay, face like a slapped arse. Well, you know what an arse is. And a face like a slapped one, red. But it generally means somebody who's unhappy or upset in some way. I don't understand why we make that comparison, but we do. Here's another oldie but goodie. Big girl's blouse. Big girl blouse. Blouse is a name for the shirt that a female wears. Or it used to be. I think nowadays they just call them shirts. But it was a shirt for a man, a blouse for a woman. So calling somebody a big girl's blouse meant they were weak, pathetic, effeminate. Oh, you big girl's blouse.
My consumption grows ever more acute and Coleridge's drugs are wearing off.
Oh, Mr. Byron, don't be such a big girl's blouse.
I passed this one a few times, cockwomble. Now, I hadn't heard it before, but it is repeated here several times, actually more than several, a dozen times at least. So I looked it up because I thought wombles, they were a sort of animated series from the 70s, 80s. They were creatures that lived on Wimbledon Common and collected rubbish and essentially recycled it, or upcycled it, as people say now. So I thought cockwomble was a way of saying somebody was gay. They were wandering around collecting cocks. But I did check, and apparently a cockwomble is somebody who makes stupid comments and has a very high opinion of themselves. Not sure how those two connect, cock and womble, but that's what it means. Cockwomble, somebody who has a high opinion of themselves but behaves and speaks badly. Bugger off. That is such a common one and has been around for yonks. It's actually very rude, but people don't think about the meaning. Bugger, buggeration, to bugger somebody was gay sex. Let's put it that way. But bugger off just means go in not really an aggressive style, but a forceful way. Bugger off. Get lost. Get out of here. You can also use it in response to something somebody says, like, I think rap is the greatest music in the world. Bugger off. It's kind of like take that statement and leave. Mug. Classic one. This is a mug, coffee mug, as opposed to a cup, which is smaller. Don't get them confused. But when we call somebody a mug, we mean they're an idiot. It's like when you get robbed on the street, that is to be mugged. So when you say somebody is a mug, you're saying they are foolish, they would be easily cheated, conned. You want to sell that crappy car you have? Talk to Dave, he's a mug. Like you can cheat him out of his money. This is good. The yeah, okay, mate. You say it to some idiot. Is like he's saying, oh, again, rap is the greatest music in the world. And you say, yeah, okay, mate. And it's just like saying, I'm ending the conversation here because we're going to fight otherwise. So, yeah, okay. You keep your thoughts, keep them to yourselves. I'm going. Another one, which isn't something we use commonly, but is just a quotation from Monty Python. I fart in your general direction. We might say it as a joke to somebody, just because everybody knows that quote. It's like anything from the Dead Parrot sketch. He is an ex-parrot. He has ceased to be.
I fart in your general direction.
List of ones here. Gobshot we've already done. When encountering an extremely camp gentleman, camp is like effeminate. He's not gay, but his boyfriend is. He's not gay, but he slept with a man who is, that sort of thing. Window licker, head the ball, and Texan are great old school ones when encountering people with low intelligence. Head the ball and Texan, I haven't heard before. Window licker, I haven't heard before, but I can see that, like somebody's looking in a cake shop licking the window because they're so stupid. Salad dodger and coffin dodger for fat and old people, respectively. Yes. Salad dodger, fat. Dodge. To dodge something means to avoid it. Like trucks coming towards you, you dodge. You get out of the way. So a salad dodger is somebody who avoids salads. They're just eating the cream cakes. And a coffin dodger is somebody who, essentially, you're saying, should be dead, but they're still going. My grandfather's 92, the coffin dodger. Now, if I want the monkey, I'll rattle a nut. Basically, when someone says something stupid. Similar to if you're talking to somebody and somebody else replies, like you're talking to two guys and one of them is the intelligent one you're talking to and the other one sticks his two penneth in and you say, no, I'm talking to the organ grinder, not the monkey. But you shut up, I'm talking to the one in charge. Richard, you do talk some absolute twaddle sometimes. Twaddle. This isn't a direct thing at the person, it's about what they said. Yeah, you can read a book on something and you say a lot of this is twaddle. It's just rubbish, it's rambling, it doesn't make any sense or it's pointless. Twaddle. Bonehead is another one for a stupid person, you know. Just bone, no brain. Sausage jockey, same as knob jockey we had in the previous video. Thick as two short planks, really stupid. Shitbag. Shitbag. He's a shitbag. Unpleasant person in many respects. And arsehole. Now you notice we spell arse, A-R-S-E, because that's the correct spelling. The Americans say A-S-S, but that's a kind of donkey. So when they say, you know, I slapped his ass, it's like, why does he have a donkey in the 21st century? Maggot. Maggot is the form of a fly before it becomes a fly, the grub. So calling somebody a maggot is insulting them, saying they're not worth anything, they're the lowest of the low, or gross. You silly sod. Again, like bugger, sod is one where people forget the actual meaning. Sod comes from sodomy, gay stuff. But silly sod just means you're being stupid, silly person. Or we use sod as well for like sod that. It's like to hell with that, I'm not doing that.
Sod off.
Billy No Mates. I actually did a little cartoon caption of this in my previous video. Not on insults, previous section. Billy No Mates just means somebody who has no friends. Should we invite Dave out for dinner tonight with us? Or Billy No Mates? No. He's so boring. Hence why he has no mates, no friends. Can't beat a good old-fashioned cretin. Cretin, moron. More insulting than many of these. You can call somebody a pleb or, you plonker. You say cretin, it's more insulting. It is actually saying they are stupid to the nth degree. Dog botherer. Any sort of animal botherer, sheep botherer, cow botherer. It means you sexually interfere with these things. Donut. Calling somebody donut. Like idiot. They've spelt it wrong here. They've done the simplified American spelling. Donut. Used to be donut, D-O-U-G-H, dough, and then naught because it was made into that zero shape. And then they changed it to nut, which makes no sense. And then this strange, idiotic spelling. Numpty, dingbat. Again, we had numpty before, and dingbat goes onto that list as well. Dingbat's quite a nice one, actually. It kind of describes somebody not so much as stupid, but eccentric. Like their mind is a little bit... So Yeah, dingbat. Again, not common, but I like this one. 60 million sperm and you were the fastest? Like 59,999,999. Any of those ones would have been better than you. I often call people a gimp or melt. Again, I don't know this melt one. I'm not going to look it up. It sounds like one of these things that comes in one year and then disappears the next. But gimp has been around for a long time. Originally, this meant like spastic again, or mong. Somebody with a bad leg, for example, they're a gimp. So not something we would use these days. Unless, obviously, we're talking about those people who have the rubber or leather fetish with the gimp mask. So, yeah, not a common thing today. Quietly, calmly saying, I beg your pardon. That's nice. It's like, did you really say that? Are you really that stupid? To quote Clark W. Griswold, no, we shan't, because Clark W. Griswold is an American character, so should not be on the list of British insults. Okay, let's stop it there because there are many more on this page, although a lot of them are repeats. So there will be a third part of this. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it interesting. If you have any suggestions of your own, do pop them in the comments and let us know. Perhaps you have similar ones in your country or very different ones. Again, pop them in the comments, share them with us, and we can discuss them in the future. For now, thank you for joining me. If you like this, please click the like button. If you want to stay up to date with these videos, click subscribe. Do, if you know anybody who would be interested, click the share button. And do come back for our next installment. Bye-bye now.